CNN political commentator who supports Donald Trump. Ladies, great to have you on.
Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you so much to be with you, Brooke.
Wendy, let me just begin with you. You just heard Jeff's reporting on, these WikiLeaks, these hacked emails, and just to hear, it sounds like the Al Gore hesitancy in endorsing during the back and forth fight between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and the no love lost line from Abedin. Why do you think it took so long? What do you make of these revelations?
I can't speak to why that took so long, but I think, as Jeff finished the clip there, the important thing is that when needed, Al Gore has come through. And I think he was such an important surrogate in Florida, speaking on behalf of how, from personal experience, he understands that every single vote matters. And I expect he's going to continue to be an important part of speaking out on behalf of Secretary Clinton all the way to the finish line now.
Kaylee, what do you make of it?
Well, what I make of it is that there were two wings, really, of the Democratic Party. You had, the Bernie Sanders supporters who were fervently there, and those who did not like Secretary Clinton, did not want to be a part of Clinton's team. But you had the DNC behind Hillary Clinton all the way to the finish line. And I think there's some deep frustrations in the fact that, the party wing that was supposed to be purportedly neutral in this was behind her, probably was very frustrating to those on the outsides. And I think Al Gore was probably part of that wing that was deeply frustrated by the institutional party supporting Hillary Clinton.
Divisions among Dems, divisions among Republicans.
Yes.
Let's move on to early voting numbers, ladies. We got the number, and this is huge. 3.3 million Americans have already early voted. This is according to this data company that CNN's working with, Catalyst. And so when you look at these certain states, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, and one other, it's looking good for the Clinton campaign. Wendy, though, I'm wondering if you are at all concerned for the folks who are Clinton supporters who maybe may not, get out and vote because they see she's ahead. So they'll stay at home. Does that worry you?
Of course, that's always a concern when there are predictions that a candidate is ahead and is going to win. And the job of this incredible ground operation that Hillary Clinton has had in place for many, many months now, particularly in these battleground states, it will be their job, and I think they're going to do it very well, to make sure that people understand we cannot take a single vote for granted, and that their voice is going to be absolutely essential in getting us successfully across the finish line on November the 8th.
And in the reverse, though, when Kaylee, hearing Donald Trump, this is a rigged election, widespread voter fraud, although I will say he said today in North Carolina, get out and vote, don't blow it. I'm wondering if even that would hurt the rigged election claims among Republicans who could be thinking, well, if it's rigged, my vote won't matter, I'll stay home, and that would affect Republicans all the way down the ballot.
I think it will actually have the reverse effect. I think Republicans are going to say, hey, not only do I need to go vote, but I need to be vigilant. I need to look around. I need to make sure, be a poll watcher in essence and make sure that nothing is going on that's out of line here. And I really think I've got to say that there is a Brexit effect. I don't think that this is just hype. And by that, I mean, look at the latest Bloomberg poll. I think it came out 2 days ago. 3% of voters in that poll told the pollster they didn't want to say who they were supporting. And I can only imagine the number of people who just hung up the phone altogether, didn't want to talk to a pollster. I really think there are people who are so afraid to be in this basket of deplorables with Donald Trump that they're afraid to say they support him, but they are going to come out on Election Day, and when the doors are closed, they're going to put a vote in Donald Trump's column.
Wendy, I'd love to hear you responding to that, because I talked to Nigel Farage, who was essentially Mr. Brexit over in England, and he was on with me the other day in Vegas and said, Brooke, I'm not buying these polls. I didn't buy the polls in England. So many people assumed that vote Remain would be the predominant vote, and look what happened.
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is being made right now, and we're seeing that, as you talked about at the outset of this question, in these very important battleground states. The early vote tallies show that Democrats are coming out in very large numbers, and I think we're going to see that all the way through the finish line. And to the point made earlier, oftentimes the opposite, as you said, can happen. When people believe that their candidate has lost, their enthusiasm for showing up actually wanes. And I think there's going to be some of that happening here. And without the kind of ground operation that the Clinton campaign has in place, that phenomenon could create a very real problem for Donald Trump.
Let me move on and talk about the one of the lines from Donald Trump the other night at the Vegas debate was toward the end. He called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman. And there was this, the Al Smith comedy dinner last night where the two came together, and he resurrected that very line. Here he was.
Last night, I called Hillary a nasty woman. But this stuff is all relative. After listening to Hillary rattle on and on and on, I don't think so badly of Rosie O'Donnell anymore. In fact, I'm actually starting to like Rosie a lot.
Kaylee, now I know you may tell me who cares about the crowd, and the New York elite was in that dinner hall, but that nasty woman line has actually been a rallying cry for a lot of women. It's backfired against him. Why bring it back up?
Look, I don't think it was necessarily smart to bring back up the nasty woman line. I understand his frustrations with Hillary Clinton. I think there were a lot of women actually who watched Hillary Clinton and saw an arrogant smugness that they didn't like on the debate stage. They feel she's gotten away with a lot of corruption, be it at the FBI or Clinton Foundation. I don't think he should have resurrected that line, but I do think it's worth mentioning. And to me, this was a very special thing I heard this morning from Cardinal Dolan on a morning show say, before both of those candidates walked out on that stage at the dinner, they prayed together. And it was Donald Trump who, after that prayer, said to Hillary Clinton, you know what, Hillary, you're a really talented and you're a really tough lady. And I was pleased to hear that that is what he said to her in that private moment. And I think I commend him for that.
He did. And then Hillary Clinton essentially said, let's all work together after